The following story you are about to listen to is from a competition known as an OCT, or an Original Character Tournament. In essence, it is a project where you make a character and try to write a compelling entry against other people, pitting your characters against them in a conflict. As such, this story is going to have some bits of missing context, as the other characters represented have entire backstories to themselves that may not be fully explained due to time constraints. Also, there will likely be many grammatical errors. I do apologize and give you some forewarning. The characters of the Godeater, the Crossguards, Saki, Tenki, Miss X, and the location of the Crossroads all belong to Vashley and the Summer League's organizers. I hope you enjoy this entry. Bloopers at the end. Summer League's Audition, Chapter 8.
This is what you've sent me. This was worth the insult. This was worth wasting my time.
She held his unconscious form in one of her hands. His stupid, ugly, fashionless, dumb, moron head dangled limply to the left as he sent out pained gurgles from his open mouth. Bruises from a dozen flaming skeletal fists marked every inch of his body. Yet despite it all, the hood remained. Baladeth stood in his usual place, unfazed with his hands behind his back. The rest of the undead behind him stared on blankly, white and empty eyes absorbing all that happened around them. What was your goal today? To throw a punch so I could break your hand? I had heard you were audacious, but surely I didn't figure you were stupid as well. Reality bent even more around the Godeater as cracks in the fabric of dimensions distorted with her stored and latent power. The recovering guards around her shuffled uneasily away, now completely unsure of where safety was. This bumbling buffoon, this mewling moron, this damn idiot was the best you had to offer me! The grip around her pipe tightened. The unlit leaves sitting in the bowl rustled with a few falling lazily to the ground. She brought the limp form of Nalagram in front of her to glower with all the authority of her office. Her nine-tailed hair raised above her head as a side effect of her meddling with the fabric of dimensions. You had best provide me one good reason why I shouldn't snap your neck for your insolence in front of my men, your master, and the dead themselves. She growled, only barely loud enough for all those to hear. It was an easy effect, as there was silence from all those around her. The necromancer's hooded head tilted up slightly as his infuriating smirk was still plastered upon his face. His deep red eyes met hers with no fear, merely amusement, as though she were the one at the disadvantage. Need a light? He asked as he brought up a small orb no larger than a pearl on a chain. Her eyes widened in shock, and her hair fell down in a single mass as, across time and space, and across every world with which she spoke to him and held him, he lit a small fire between his fingers and set it gently into her pipe. It was an action that pierced the veil of realities, something that should have been so improbable that the odds of it happening, even in her lifetime as a god, were so negligible it should have been zero. Yet here he was, working as a single universal constant in her very hands. Each and every version of him, the same smile, the same flame. She dropped him with a dull thud onto the still warm stone ground, to which he let out an unceremonious, "Ow!" She hadn't noticed when Baladeth had stood next to her. She had been too enraptured by the display she had seen. She simply knew that he was there now, staring down at the beaten and battered body of his apprentice as though he were staring at a prized pig. He nudged the ragged mortal's body with a foot, bringing a bemoaned gurgle from the man. Impressive, isn't he? The king of the Hollow Crown asked with a raised brow. Smugness was baked into his features. Her eyes sat on him for longer than they should have. He had been everything she despised. The man was an assault on the very idea of authority, even if that authority was his own god's. There would be no way for him to be put under control, even under the best circumstances. He was arrogant, he was an utter buffoon, overestimated his own abilities, and was ready to fight anyone that was put in front of him. And yet, I do believe I would like to consider his application, Lord of Mourners. Danger seemed to envelop the land as the words left her mouth. From the ground, she could have sworn she heard the snapping of bones as the previously unconscious man began to move. He had the widest, most evil grin she had ever seen in her entire life. That's great, 'cause I got some conditions. Bruises from a dozen flaming skeletal fists. Wow, this is a sentence. Need a light? Oh, I gotta get into now. I need to get now. We're bringing down the